This is part 3 of the Volvo build. To start with, we're going to be getting the intercooler piping finished up. Bought this silicone elbow here, which is an adapter which goes from 3" to 2.5 for my turbo outlet and to then go to the boost pipe in size. It's rubbing on the anti-roll bar a bit there, so I'm probably just going to trim a little bit off the height that side to try and give it a bit of clearance. So I've got that pipe cut down now. Should be good. It's not rubbing on that anti-roll bar anymore, so I can start making my piping for that now. So what I've got basically here is I've just sort of laid out what piping I'm going to be using for the intercooler itself. So the cold side here, I've got a large piece that's going to return back and go up into the inlet manifold there. I've just basically done that so that I know what I've got left to make that diagonal pipe. So because I bought quite a large kit, I've got all of these pieces left over here. So rather than my original plan of I was just going to cut this and then TIG weld it at an angle like that, I'm thinking now I might be able to utilise these bends and either weld two together or even join together with some of these silicone joinings. But I'm undecided yet. I'm just going to start cutting some shit up and see how it comes out. Really. So I think I'm going to start off with one of these tight 90 degrees here, purely because of the fact that it's got that lip on the edge there, and it's quite close to the radius of the bend. So by the time that goes in and is inside that pipe there, I haven't got to worry about chopping this down to put that lip back on so the pipe won't blow off. I might better just join two together. Quite a nice tight radius at like say 45 and then a 45 back out so it's straight. But a slight change of plan. Like I said, originally I was going to use this shallow 90 degree bend here to try and keep this pipe radius tight of the bend, but because there's actually quite a big distance from the boost pipe coming off of the intercooler to this one here in the turbo, I'm going to use the two larger 90 degree elbows and measure the distance between each point here. And you can imagine these pipes are sort of joined like that. One will come in there, welded there, and then the one will come out there, sort of like that. So as you can see, I've had my pipes test fitted here. I've cut my two 90 degree elbows. That is roughly what the shape I wanted to go for, but I need it at a little bit more of an angle there for it to sit straight, so I've just made a reference mark there. I'm just going to take basically half that off the inside of each pipe, and that should give me my angle what I need then. So I've got that intercooler pipe there all mocked up. Goes in the front there. Just got some tape around it for the minute, just so I can make sure it's clear, which it does. Clears the oil filter there quite nicely. Misses this radiator support there, and it also misses the chassis, so I can get that welded together and then it can go on for good. So this boot on the right here was an extra one I had to order because I didn't quite have enough. As you can see, it's quite a bit bigger than the one on the left for the rest of them, so I'm just going to trim this one down so I can get it to match the same size. Got this straight piece here left over, so I'm going to cut a small section of this to make my U-bend to return back towards the inlet manifold. Just get the mark up on here, roughly where I want it to come. And then I'm just going to measure that. 45 mils, double that, 90. So that'll be this piece here, which will go inside that one as well, and then those will butt up tight like that to form the U-bend. So I'm just going to cut this bottom piece now to length as well. So that's all the intercooler pipe in there, cut and mocked up in place. There's the hot side there.
Just taped it together there just to get a idea of the shape and whatnot of what I'm going for. Clears everywhere, which is quite nice.
And then the cold side here comes down around the bottom of the fan in front of the engine, behind the radiator. And then up. There's that piece that joins together and goes along like that. Now this isn't unstable, but I think what I'm going to do is make a bracket up a clamp or something that comes off to here, just to stabilise this pipe a bit, just for extra strength. But alright, so now that the boost pipes are all done, I'm going to start looking at the downpipe for the exhaust there. So what I've done is I've ordered 2.5-inch V-band to go on the back of the turbo there, and obviously the steering column there is in the way, so what I've done is I've bought a 15-degree kinked piece and then a 45, so I'm hoping I can go kink it across 15 degrees and then go down 45 and then just follow the contour of the firewall then. These are the pieces I've got. So that's a 2.5 for the back of the turbo, which is then I'm going to cut this about and use that to avoid the steering column, like I said, and then that's going to come down and follow the firewall. I've got a 2.5 to 3-inch adapter here because I do want to run a 3-inch downpipe, so I'll be cutting this as tight as I can to the back of the turbo so I can run 3-inch. So I'm just going to sit this in like that, like it would sit on the car. Tight to that front face, and I'm just going to measure. Got 12 mil. So I can cut this piece down now, just like probably 14 mil. Just so I've got a little bit of room there, and then that can be built off of them. So I got that fitting nice there now. That would go on like so. So I've just got that tacked on in a couple of places for now. As you can see, it's a nice clear shot all the way through there. Just got that one bolted up now. So you can see there is tight, there's a nice gap there between the clamp and the 3-inch section there for a bit of weld to sit. So plan is now to sort of put this one in there like that, and then go on from there. I think I'm going to give myself a good amount of room there to kick that away from the steering column there, so I'm going to cut it down the outside of this tape line here. So I've had a slight change of plan here. Originally, like I say, I had that on here, but this pipe, or this fitting, is 3-inch internal, or it slots over the pipe like that, so it's not going to look great. So what I think would look better is if I take this V-band fitting and then I just weld it in centre like that, and I'll just lose that overlap then. So I've got that bit all tacked on there, nice even gap. That'll be on there like that. It's hard to see, but there is actually a good bit of clearance between that steering column there and the starter motor and whatnot. Off camera, I've got both my pieces cut to length now, roughly, so I can go ahead and get that tacked together. It's the sort of shape. It's going to be kinked that way and then kinked back that way and down to go around the steering column. Just going to go ahead and deburr both of these pieces before I tack it together. That's that bit tacked in place now. It's hard to see, but nice bit of clearance there. So this is from underneath the car. There's a nice bit of clearance there between the gearbox and the pipe and the side of the chassis leg here, so that works quite well. Up now. My MIG weld isn't as nice as Ollie's TIG, but it's hidden behind the clamp, so it doesn't really matter too much. Cut down to make work, and obviously it's going to be just missing the bead off the edge there, so I'm probably going to try and modify this old pair of pliers here to turn into like a crimping thing to put that bead back on the edge. Now I'm going to weld a piece of round bar on one side to give me that crimping shape then. That's that done there. There's a nice bead on there now. You can see it's actually more raised on the other side, so it should be fine. Shouldn't have any problems with the pipes blowing off there. Looks a bit agricultural, but you aren't going to see it, and it'll do the job fine. Given all the pipes here a good thorough clean, because a lot of them had aluminium dust from where I've cut them and been fucking about with them and stuff like that, so it's spent a good bit of time giving them clean because I do not want any of that going inside the engine. Pipes fitted now, clamped on. No leaks from any of the turbo feed or return lines, that's pretty good. That's the video there about it runs real lumpy when it's cold. Thinking maybe start with fuel filter and that, and then try and get the injectors out and clean them up. And then obviously check timing on the pump and whatever else. But it seems to idle okay after it's warmed up slightly.